Hello Physical Fiends, it is Jordan here with a nice video looking at all the upcoming imports on Nintendo Switch and Nintendo Switch 2 that you may want to keep an eye on. These are physical releases in Japan and other Asian regions that are only releasing there that we know of and will play in English unless otherwise stated. So let's take a look. Virtual Ties Isekai Jocho Muso Kyoku is releasing on March the 9th next week. And this is a visual novel and it will play in English, which may not be a shock considering it's featuring in this video, but the biggest shock is that it's being published by Entagram, whose physical releases almost never have English. I think this is the second one. Hopefully, unlike that first one, this won't get delisted and withdrawn from sale immediately. What did the naughty nurses do to deserve that? Anyways, this is a brand new visual novel that not much is known about it right now. It's coming in a standard edition as well as a limited edition. Bang Bang Bandits Nintendo Switch 2 Edition is a Nintendo Switch 2 proper physical release on a cartridge, and it's releasing in Hong Kong and Japan on March 19th next week, and it will play in English. When this originally released on the original Switch, also an import, it did not have English. Well, now it does, and this looks like a fun gallery shooter sort of game. Maybe simple and kiddie, but honestly I think it looks kind of interesting. I think we need more gallery shooters and light gun games in our miserable lives. Love is All Around Collection was only very recently announced and it's almost already out, March the 26th. I love that kind of turnaround time. This is a double pack of two very popular FMV games, Chinese ladies and a dating sim sort of thing, and both games have very different settings, one in a modern day thing, the other in a period drama. This double pack previously released on PlayStation 5 as an import but quickly went out of print. Hopefully this Nintendo Switch physical release stays around a bit longer because it's gonna be very popular. Kemco RPG Selection Volume 13. You can always rely on one of these to appear in these videos. I can't remember a time where there hasn't been one on the horizon. This is releasing on March the 26th, although there is no sign of a Volume 14 as of yet. I'm sure it will come, but I know the Kemco collectors will be biting their nails with anxiety. Now, as you may be aware, they have started doing these collections in the West. They are currently up to Volume 3. I don't know how well they've sold though, and I find it difficult to believe they will persevere all the way up this high, but we'll have to see. Homicipher is a fascinating release, definitely one that's got my attention. It is a visual novel, even considered to be an otome of sorts, but even then it looks like one of the more unique examples of the subgenre because it is a horror game where I think you seduce the monsters, but not before deciphering their language. Very fascinating, and it's releasing physically on March 26 in English, except the part where the monsters can't speak English. Witch and the Ghost Volonte, as Play Asia call it, but I believe the true English title is just Volonte. This is a dark fantasy otome VN that released digitally in Japan last year. That did not have English, but apparently this physical release that's coming March 26th will have English. If you want a magical story with knights and witches, then this will be one to look forward to. It's coming in a standard and collector's edition. Hyperdevotion Noire, Goddess Blackheart. This is also releasing on March the 26th, at least for the Asian English release. This came out in Japan already, but that did not have English. This more special title is a Play Asia exclusive release that's diving through a loophole. This game was banned by Nintendo in the West, but this is the opportunity to get around that by making it a Southeast Asian release. This is a tactical RPG spin-off of the Neptunia franchise, and that's what makes me a bit more interested in it than I otherwise would be. I love a good tactical affair. I was trying to get a review code for this, but East Asia Soft really aren't wanting to draw too much attention to it, weirdly. I think they, want the loophole to remain kind of secret. It's coming in a standard edition as well as a limited edition. Now, if you want to import it or any of the other games in this video, and you want to support me and my work at the same time, then you can find all the games linked down below in the description and pinned comment. You can pre-order from Play Asia, who currently have free shipping as a promo on orders over $100, and you can also get 5% off with my code Jordan2026. Or you can pre-order many of them from VGP as well, who are a good Canadian company with free worldwide shipping on orders over 75 Canadian bucks, like 55 American dollars, not that much. Any purchase made helps support me and this channel in the best way possible. Thank you so much. Incantation is another Play Asia exclusive. This one is a horror game from the same people who made the Bridge Curse releases, and equally it's also based, I think, on a Taiwanese horror movie. I could be wrong on that, but I like those games, so I think this one should be a solid addition to anyone's horror game library. This is releasing on April 8th, also in a standard and collector's edition. Kejora is releasing on April 16th in Asia, a bit of a low-key release, but I wouldn't expect anything less from SoftSource, the publisher. This is a hand-drawn puzzle platformer adventure game. It looks absolutely gorgeous, like a Boku no Natsu game, but apparently it's a bit more style over substance, with the gameplay and polish lacking a little bit. Not bad or anything, reviews are decent, just don't expect anything spectacular. Doraemon Dorayaki Shop Story is also releasing on April the 16th in Japan, and I believe this is a big cause for celebration since it is a Kairos soft game finally getting a physical release. I've always wanted some kind of like 5-game volume sets to be released, but this is a single game, but it is perhaps their biggest game. Unlike the charming Dinky Sims they usually do, this one has a bit more meat to it, and supposedly it is a dream, especially for Doraemon fans with all the Easter eggs involved, but even normal Kairos soft fans will enjoy this. Pilo and the Holobook is releasing in Asia and Japan on April the 16th, although I do think the Asian version may be the one to import. It is minimally more expensive, but does come with some extra goodies. It also has an English cover and some sticker sheets alongside a digital soundtrack and art book. This is an exploration adventure game that is very highly reviewed. You turn everything into stickers, which is exciting the 10-year-old Jordan of the past. Shiny stickers, you say? Take my wallet. Kingdom's Return, Time Eating Fruit, and the Ancient Monster is an Inti Creates game, always a bastion of physical releases. However, this one, despite also releasing on Nintendo Switch 2, there is only a physical for the original Switch, and PlayStation 5 if you want that. This is a kingdom building game that has your classic Inti Creates side-scrolling action goodness. On your adventures, you pick up materials to use in your construction efforts, and there's apparently a strategy part to it as well. It's releasing April 23rd in a standard and limited edition. GigaSword, a quick mention to this, which is releasing on April the 23rd in Japan. This already got an import release in Hong Kong earlier this year. Castle of Shikigami III is also releasing on April 23rd in Japan, and this is the third game in the shmup series finally coming to the Switch in this standalone edition. Now, PlayAsia haven't listed languages for it, or at least not anything about English, and the Japanese eShop only says that it has Japanese, but you know, it's a shmup, it's not that important to have English. It looks cool, but there's definitely something better releasing on the same day. Castle of Shikigami Triology is a triple pack of the Castle of Shikigami games. It includes the third game just mentioned, it includes the second game, which did get a standalone release already, even in the West, so some of you may already have that, but it also includes the first game, which doesn't appear to be getting its own standalone release, so this triple pack is probably the only way to get the first game physically. Like the third game, the Japanese eShop says it will only have Japanese, which again, I don't think it's that important. Front Mission First Remake Smart Price Edition. A quick mention to this, not technically an import exclusive since it did get a Western physical release. However, this lower priced Japanese release will be a complete on-cartridge version with all the patches on board, which would make it the best version out there if you care about that. The publisher explicitly told me all the patches would be on the cartridge. Cassette Boy is releasing on the 30th of April, and at a glance, this looks like a wannabe Game Boy homebrew title, but there's definitely more to it than meets the eye. It's actually 3D, and you can shift the camera around to make what is a lovely little puzzle adventure game. It has very good reviews, and appears to be the most accomplished game from the developer, who previously made the other import exclusive physicals like Dungeon and Gravestone and Block Quest Maker. Love a Kiss Endless Memories Nintendo Switch 2 Edition is going to be an import exclusive Nintendo Switch 2 physical release. Yes, a proper cartridge. The Switch version was also an import exclusive from last year, but this Switch 2 Edition promises better performance, more people on screen at once during photo sessions, and of course, mouse controls for extra precision to capture the perfect photo of your love interest. A photography game mixed with dating sim and visual novel. It's going to play in English, and it will be the best way to play it when it releases April the 30th. Dear Mirror Flower is, in my opinion, going to be a very low-key import release when it comes out in Japan, April 30th. It's a fairly unremarkable visual novel, a short one at that, like 6 hours, and has fairly mediocre reception for when it released digitally. Yeah, reviews aren't that great for it. Söldner-X Complete Collection, May the 14th. Mark it down, okay? If it's not May the 14th, I will eat, well, someone at East Asia Soft's hat. This long-delayed physical release seems to have finally gotten a solid date. I don't know how long it's been, but it feels like 2 years, and this is a double pack of shmups, Euro shmups that some people have labeled, but well made from what I've heard, and I would pick this up in either a standard edition or collector's edition. It's a PlayAsia exclusive. Terra Memoria, a quick mention to this, which is releasing in Japan on May the 21st. This already released in Asian regions and did get a very limited print thanks to Super Rare Games in Europe, but I think the import is much more accessible and a cheaper way to pick it up these days. Psyvariar 3 is releasing in Japan on May the 21st. Now, I would hold off with this one because I personally think it is likely to get a Western physical release. This Japanese release is going to be on Nintendo Switch and as a proper cartridge on Nintendo Switch 2. English, that's unknown at the moment. It should do, but it's not certain as of yet. It's a new shmup in the well-regarded series. Probably short, but sweet. Lollipop Chainsaw RePOP Nintendo Switch 2 Edition is releasing physically on Nintendo Switch 2 May the 28th. Now, limited run did take pre-orders for this in North America, but if you missed that or you want this cheaper, more available option, then this will be the next best way to go. This cult schlocky action game will hopefully perform much nicer on Switch 2. It was pushed back from its original release date to, polish it up even more. Unrailed 2, back on track, is a recently announced import. Super Rare Games did the original game in Europe, but there's currently no sign that the West will get this second game. This is a party game, at least preferably, where you and friends help a train get along by planting the tracks as you go and taking away the hazards. It's a bit like Overcooked, where things get really hectic. It's coming in a standard and collector's edition on June the 11th. Now, before I get into the latter half of this video, if you're new here and you love physical video games, then hit that subscribe button. It will be the best thing you do today, I promise you, okay? I am very useful when it comes to physical video games, so use me. I'll give you alerts, new announcements, discounts, opinions, everything you could ever need. Plus, the bigger this channel is, the more publishers will pay attention to the demand for physical media. So do your bit and subscribe. Dark Auction Nintendo Switch 2 Edition is releasing on June the 11th. Following on from the original Switch release, this promises better resolution and performance. Not much difference really if you already imported the base Switch version, but nice to see the Nintendo Switch 2 get another physical release. inKONBINI, One Store, Many Stories. Now, this is getting a physical release on Nintendo Switch 2 in North America. However, if you're purely an OG Switch collector, then you may want to import the Japanese or Asian physical release, which is getting an OG Switch physical release over there. This is a cozy adventure sort of game where you manage a convenience store in a rural Japanese town in the 90s. It looks kind of lovely. UsoNatsu, The Summer Romance Bloomed from a Lie, is a visual novel release coming June the 18th physically in Japan. This is a Yuri visual novel, a kinetic one, so there's no choices or branching paths, it's just a straight, so to speak, story. A chunky 17 hours, which is kind of long for a kinetic VN, at least from what I've seen. Reviews are good for it too, and it will have a standard edition as well as a collector's edition. MAMIYA, A Shared Illusion of the World's End, is a recently announced import release, another visual novel, a slice of life nakige, one designed to make you cry or feel strong emotion. All the tags of this game on VNDB make it sound like it's one for those who enjoy misery in their visual novels. Reviews are pretty good for it, and it's releasing physically on June the 25th in a standard and collector's edition. Ganbare Goemon Daishuugo is releasing on July the 2nd. Now, the big shame about this is that it does not have English. However, not all of the games included will it be necessary. Sure, there are some RPGs in here that will be inaccessible without English, but on the whole, there's mostly a bunch of action platformers from the 8 and 16-bit era that will be pick up and playable in this very cult hit series. Weirdly, despite not having English, this is one of the most anticipated imports, and plenty of people have imported it already. And I do love a good retro collection myself. I definitely want to get my hands on it. Gunvolt Chronicles Luminous Avenger X1 and 2 Dual Collection and Gunvolt Chronicles Luminous Avenger X1 and 2 Dual Collection Nintendo Switch 2 Edition are releasing on July the 9th. Yes, one for Nintendo Switch and one for Nintendo Switch 2. So a proper cartridge release, you can pick your poison. This is a double pack of two very nice action platformers. I've played the second one and I loved it, and people say the first one is even better, so that sounds nice. Now, these games already released individually in Japan on Nintendo Switch and in North America via limited run, but this double pack upgrades the games with tweaks and better production to make them the best they've ever been. Each console is coming in a standard edition and collector's edition. Culdcept Begins. Now, this is one of those cases where Western publishers are banking on the Nintendo Switch 2 physical, but are passing on the original Switch. Well, Japan is not, okay? If you're an OG Switch purist and you want a physical of this awesome looking new entry in the well-loved cult franchise, then you'll want to import from Japan or Asia. It will play in English, and yeah, this looks like it could be great. You guys know I don't like card stuff in video games, but even this has me hyped up. I will probably pick it up on Nintendo Switch 2 as a Switch 2 edition to support the publisher's efforts, but it is nice to have the option, right? 70s style robot anime Geppy-X is legit my most hyped physical release in this video. That may very well be ill-advised, but there is an animalistic feeling within me that tells me I need this. This is a shmup, but it was made to be presented like an actual anime show. Like there's loads of animated cutscenes, and there's even commercial breaks to add some authenticity. I love it. This was originally a Japanese-only PlayStation 1 game that came on 4 discs. A shmup over 4 discs. That's how over the top they went with the presentation, and I cannot wait to get my hands on this remastered version July 16th in both the standard and limited edition. Moomin Troll Winter's Warmth is not confirmed to have English, but I do think it's likely. Maybe hold off until like 100% confirmed, but I should still mention it, to keep an eye on it. It looks like a really nice adventure game, beautiful art style, and it's coming in a standard and limited edition July the 30th. A bit of time to go. Star Wanderer DX is another Leoful special, announcing it right now and then releasing it in a few weeks. This is exclusive to Southeast Asia, and it's releasing on the 10th of April very soon. And this is an unusual import, definitely one of a kind, because it is a space combat game as you fight, trade, and explore the universe. Seems to be quite ambitious. I don't know if it lives up to that, but yeah, it's going for some old school vibes, and I think it could be pretty cool. And there we have a bunch of upcoming imports for Nintendo Switch and Nintendo Switch 2. Which ones are you most looking forward to? Which ones have you pre-ordered already? And also, if you do want to pre-order any of them, please do so via the links in the description and pinned comment. That helps me out in the most unimaginable, best way possible. Like, so much. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. And also, have a fantastic day. Take care.